Okay, Dawson, I realize it's might be hard to be a little reflective here so soon after the loss, but just what do you think, looking back on the season, about the success you had, with all the work you've done with catching and tennis balls and the eye thing? Just what do you think, looking back on the season, how that worked for you?
It's just the consistency of training your eyes, getting with Josh, just trusting your hands. That's all it is, just doing the right thing every day, finding a good routine for yourself, and then just developing that confidence. It's not much more than that.
And then lastly, you led the NFL tight ends, or tied for the lead in touchdown catches. What is that? What do you think about that?
I feel like I made a good jump from last year to this year. But I feel like I'm far from where I want to be as a tight end. I feel like I'm, just scratching the surface, and I want to keep going. I want to make another jump going into next year, and just doing whatever our team needs.
Thank you, Dawson. Appreciate your help.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, Dawson, as you guys begin to kind of close the chapter on this season, how do you process yesterday and then start to move forward to the off season?
Yeah. There's not much to be said. Everybody kind of feels the same way. It was devastating. But everything that happens can be turned into something good in the future. I think it's going to be a good foundation for us. Obviously, last year was devastating too. So we had, hopes for something different this year. I think that the difference, though, between this game this year and the playoff game last year is it's pretty dramatic. Just to see the results that we got and how close we were. But I think we just plan on continuing to build from here. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we want to continue to trust that process. Right now, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to go find a beach somewhere, get football off our minds, rest, recover, and just mentally kind of reset, and then look back at the game and learn from it, and then just take it for what it is and keep building on this incredible franchise everyone's been building.
Yeah, building off of that, you say, Rome wasn't built in one day, and you guys get to welcome back a lot of familiar faces to this roster next season. So knowing that you will probably have a lot of the offense still intact and have some new faces as well, where do you think this offense can go from here based on how you guys really finished this season?
Yeah, I don't think there's any limit to where we can go. The ceiling's so high for us. Everybody started to see what we're capable of. Everything started kind of rolling for us. Everything started clicking from the offensive line. The motors running game has been incredible. Obviously, our receivers are ridiculous. Gabe 4 touchdowns in a playoff game is. I told him before the game we were going to combine for 3, and we combined for 4. So I like messing with him about that. But and when you got 17 on your team, you got a chance to win every game you're in. Everyone's seen what he can do. He's like a video game creative player. It's ridiculous. So we're just going to keep building on what we got here as an offense. And I think the sky's the limit for us.
Thanks, Dawson. Go find a beach.
Thanks, Backlap.
Hi, Dawson. It's Jay with the Buffalo News. I apologize if it's loud. I'm in an airport here. You mentioned building on what you accomplished this year and taking that next step. What does that look like in your mind? What do you have specific tangible goals that you want to work on this offseason to take that next step?
Yeah, that's something that I'll start developing over the next few weeks. Nothing specific right now. Right now, my first goal is to reset mentally, just get my body right and my mind right. Go home, see friends and family, kind of push the season aside and just have a breath of fresh air and just kind of move on. So that's goal number 1. And then I'll just start evaluating where I want to be for next year, kind of as this offseason goes on. But it'll be very much the same process that I started last offseason. Clearly, it worked for me a little bit. But like I said earlier, I don't think I'm anywhere close to where I want to be as a player. And I think, I've just it's just the tip of the iceberg for my game right now. And I want to just keep being that reliable weapon that, adds whatever it needs to the offense in order to win games.
Your development as an every down tight end, I don't know in terms of playing time where you finished among tight ends, but it had to be close to the top of the league. I mean, you were in every situation, every down. How do you feel like you've developed as a blocker? Because that's a big role for an every down tight end. And then specifically in terms of drops, which was something that, I'm sure you would admit that you wanted to work on and seemed to largely clean up. So those two areas in particular in your game, blocking and sure-handedness in terms of receptions, how much progress did you feel like you made and are still want to make?
Yeah. Ever since I got to the league, I've said that I wanted to be the 3-down tight end that never comes off the field. I don't want to ever be on the sidelines, especially in crucial situations. And that means I got to be a good blocker. I think there's 3 major parts to being a well-rounded, great tight end. And that's running routes, catching the ball, that's run blocking, and that's pass protection too. And I feel like I've made a big jump in those areas as well. But having a coach like Rob Boris has been incredible. Kind of the run blocking game started with him and Lee over my first 2 seasons. And then this year, the game just felt like it started slowing down a little bit, just knowing our scheme immediately when I get to the line, knowing who I'm blocking, knowing who I'm working with on any double teams, reading coverage, just starting to become second nature. And then catching the ball too. I mean, this offseason, I found a good routine for myself, and I plan to just keep building on that. And a lot of that's confidence too, and just timing with Josh and having his confidence in me as well. So it's just something that we just want to keep building on the foundation that we've set, because I feel like it's only the beginning.
Lastly, for me, and I appreciate your time, Brian Daboll, I'm sure you're aware, is interviewing for head jobs. There's a lot of speculation about what may happen with him. What has he meant for your career? And then, I know this is a hypothetical, but, if he were to take one of those jobs, I'm sure, of course, you'd be happy for him, but what could that potentially mean for this offense?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Daves is incredible. Just the way he has confidence in us as players, and he's just a real dude. I mean, you're never going to get kind of gray answers with him. You're never going to get him kind of dancing around the point. He's going to give it to you straight, whether it's good or bad. He's going to be real with you, and everyone loves him for who he is. And obviously he's led this offense to be an incredible position by the end of the season. I think that first playoff game this year was the first ever perfect offensive game in NFL history. And that's a huge testament to him and the offense that he's installed here over the last few years. So, if he does end up somewhere else, I wish him all the best. Like, he deserves everything that he'll get and more. Obviously, selfishly, we want to keep him here. He's shown that he's an elite offensive coordinator. But if he does end up somewhere with a head coaching job, I think there wouldn't be a single person in this building that would wish something bad for him. Everyone loves Daves. Everyone wishes the best for him. So we're excited for the future for him, whatever that might be.
Appreciate your time all year, Dawson. Thanks. Enjoy some downtime.
Thanks, Jay.
Hi, Dawson. I know there's a lot to still take in from yesterday's loss, but when you look back on the entire season and when you kind of put it all into a picture, how would you best describe just the way that the team played overall this year and all throughout heading up to this point?
Yeah, I think what really started clicking for us was that second half of the Tampa Bay game. Just kind of lit a fire under us, started feeling some momentum, having fun again on the sidelines. I think that's something that's huge in football that people don't really talk about. It's having fun. It's trusting in the brother that's next to you, playing for each other, just for the love of the game and for the love of everybody in your huddle. So just getting back to the basics, getting back to that love of the game and just having fun on the field was huge for us. And that kind of showed itself over the last, 5 or 6 games. Obviously we came up short and no one ever plans on that, but I think we have set a good foundation here, and we only plan on elevating that bar, elevating the standard over the next couple of years.
Now, Josh Allen last year, I know that it was kind of his coming out party, and a lot of people, there were some people that had the thought and suspicion that, maybe it was a flash in the pan sort of season. But this year, I think he silenced a lot of doubters in terms of just, it's not just a one-year wonder for Josh. But what would you say about this season for Josh and just kind of how he proved the doubters wrong?
Yeah. It's always funny to me when I hear people doubting Josh. It's, if you're still doubting him at this point, I don't know if you know anything about football. No offense to anybody that, I don't know, but he's an MVP caliber player, and he's shown that every game that we played. I mean, he's making incredible plays left and right. Sometimes you just got to sit back and watch the replay on the Jumbotron. Like, did that really just happen? There's a couple plays where I'm getting to watch him run around like, holy cow, this dude's my size, jumping over, safeties and then stiff arming D ends while making touchdown throws, falling to the ground. But he's just an incredible dude off the field too. I mean, he's like a brother. He's like a best friend. There's not a single person in this building that doesn't love that guy. He's worth every penny. He probably even took a discount, which sounds crazy, but he probably could be making more, but he took a discount to be here because he loves this place. He loves the team, and he's a team first guy, and he always will be. He's never going to be that cocky, me first, superstar ego guy, even though he could be. But, he's our guy. He's our leader. He's our general. We hope to be playing with him for a long time.
Thanks, Dawson.
Yeah. Thanks, Braden.
Hey, Dawson, it's Catherine. I hope you can hear me okay and appreciate your time all season. To follow up on that, just, what did you see out of Josh last night? And is there anything you say to him after a game like that where he plays the way he does, but it doesn't go the way y'all wanted?
Yeah, I mean, just he's put on a show, game in, game out. So there's not much to be said. I mean, everyone knows how incredible of a player he is. Obviously there's a player or two here and there you might want back, but we know that he's in here for the long haul. We have his back through everything, through the ups and downs. Playing with him, there's going to be a lot more ups than downs, which is always exciting to be on the field with a guy like that. But like I keep saying, like, this is just the foundation. This is just the start of something special we got going here. And we just want to continue to build on the momentum that we've set. And we don't want to come up short again. We felt what that has tasted like over the last 3 years. And we want to break down that door instead of just knocking at it.
In an earlier answer, you mentioned seeing Motor, Gabe Davis have, the seasons that they had. What did you see of what they were doing, whether it was in practice and preparation, that really enabled those guys to have years like they did?
Yeah. Those guys they do everything right on and off the field. They're great dudes too. I mean, there's really no one in this locker room that you want to go get a bite to eat with after a practice. Everyone's down to earth. Gabe is one of the funniest dudes I know. All the success they have is very much deserved. They work as hard, if not harder, than everybody else in the off season. But yeah, I mean, it goes to show you what you do for the whole year shows up on Sundays. And those guys do it right. And that starts, it doesn't start today, but that work will start over the next couple weeks. Like I touched on earlier, it's important to kind of get your legs back under you, enjoy some time with family, take a couple vacations. But I know those guys will get right back to work and keep building on the success they had this year.
And then when you mentioned Brian Dable and how he's, willing to have hard conversations with guys, tell you exactly what it is. Has he had any with you that really stand out where you're like, okay, that was hard to hear, but here's what I'm going to do to build off of it, and in a way you saw it translate to the field?
Yeah. I mean, just after last year, just exit meetings last year, we just had a real conversation. Like, I needed to be more consistent. They wanted to rely on me more, and they needed me to be more of a player than what I was last year. So that that stuck with me. I remembered that through the whole offseason, and I tried to become what they needed me to be as a tight end for this offense. And it was fun meeting with him today, just knowing that he was happy with where I was as a player, because his opinion means the world to me, because I know that he's a real dude. I know that he's going to, give you a straight shot answer about anything you go to him with. And he's the type of guy too you can go to him with off the field issues. It doesn't even have to be football related, and he's going to help you out. So obviously we wish him the best. Hope he stays. But it has been fun to develop into the player that he wanted me to be in the offense.
Thanks, Dawson. Always appreciate your insight.
Thanks, Catherine.
Hey, Dawson. Thanks for taking the time. Again, appreciate all you've done this season. Can you speak on the brotherhood in the locker room and the bond that you guys share?
Yeah. Coming in from college, I expected it to be a very individualized game compared to what it was in college. In college, it kind of feels like a family. Ole Miss was awesome for me. Coaches were great. Guys were going out to eat all the time together, partying on the weekends, hanging out truly in the off season. But when I got here, I was expecting individualized people with their egos. But it wasn't like that at all. There isn't a single guy in our locker room that isn't like a brother. We all love each other. We play for the love of the game, and we play for the love of the guy that's next to us. So whether it's, a guy on defense, special teams, everybody loves each other on this team. And it's special. And you can see that on the field too. And that works wonders for us. When we're out there on the road, we know it's only us there on the sidelines playing for each other. That love for each other really comes out. And I think it did over the course of the season. And I think it's just going to keep getting better too.
With that, do you worry at all about how this roster will change in the offseason, knowing that you guys felt that you had a championship caliber team this year?
No, I mean, it'd be easy to worry about things that are out of your control, but I've kind of learned to, you just can't let yourself worry about things that you can't control yourself. It's been a big learning experience for me. I'm going to focus on what I can control. Whatever 53-man roster we got to start next season, it is going to be the players that we got. Obviously, you want to hold on to everyone, but that's not realistic. I know there'll be some great pieces that we add, and there'll be some incredible guys that we lose. That's just the nature of the NFL. But you wish you could keep everybody. But that's just something that you just got to wait and see what happens. And whoever we got lining up next to us to start next season are going to be the guys that we go to war with. And I'm sure it'll be more than enough.
Thank you. Enjoy your off season. Go find that beach.
Thanks, Dante. Yeah, I will.
Hey, Dawson, AJ Feldman here in Rochester. You touched on Gabriel Davis a little bit. Next year, if he's asked to take on a bigger role, depending on who's here and things of that nature, how confident are you that he's shown down the stretch that he would be able to take on that bigger role if he's asked for it next season?
Yeah, he's gone through a roller coaster this year, from being a huge touchdown scorer, contributor, to being a guy that's getting 10 snaps a game. It's been very, very up and down for him. So to have the results that he had at the end of the year is just a huge credit to who he is as a guy, who he is as a player, and the work he puts in. He never knew when his number was going to be called. And then last night to score 4 touchdowns in a playoff game for the first time I think any receiver's ever done that in a playoff game. That just speaks for itself. There's not much I have to say about it. Everybody sees Gabe's game and is impressed by it, but nobody really sees the work that he puts in behind the scenes. And it's up there with the best of them. And this was only year 2 for him, and he's just going to keep getting better.
You've got, the quarterback, the foundation to get back to this point. But at the same time, it's the NFL. You're never sure what's going to happen. What do you have to do in the offseason to make sure that, like you said, next time you get that opportunity, you knock down the door instead of just knocking on it?
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that could have gone our way that didn't. you know, each game is just a life of its own. There's not really one specific thing that you can change that'll change the outcome to every game that you play. But it's just going to be the consistent hard work. We got to, you know, just trust that same process that we've been installing here. You know, you can't relax at all. I think, again, like last year, this is just going to be a fire that continues to light this locker room and this team, this franchise, to push us to greater things, because no one wanted it to end like it did last night. And we were just, it's insane how close we were, and to feel that, feel how close we were to a home AFC championship game, and not get there was devastating. But that's just going to be something that continues to motivate us through next year.
All right. Thanks, Dawson. Enjoy the offseason.
Thanks, AJ.
Hey, Dawson. I was curious. You've mentioned a couple times that, you know, the second half of the Tampa Bay game was when, you know, the offense really started clicking and guys were going on the sideline and all that. Why do you think it took until that point for the offense to kind of reach where it ended up going?
You said the Tampa Bay game?
Yeah. Like, why did it take, what about that time, or why did it take until that point for the offense to really get to its peak it could be at?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't, you know, I'm sure there's some analysts that can tell you what we did and what we weren't doing. But all I know is something clicked for us, and we started having fun playing football again. We started trusting each other more, and we started just leaning on each other, knowing that everyone's going to be doing their jobs when they're supposed to be doing them. So it's not really one specific thing you can look at, but it is something that you can feel that's tangible. So we felt that second half of the Bucs game, and it just kind of propelled us, kind of sparked that fire that led us on through the rest of the season.
Did it feel like there was, like, guys weren't having fun on the sideline before that? Like, or was it just like there was something about that specific game that it like ramped up?
It definitely ramped up that game. You know, I think there were just so many ups and downs throughout the season that it was kind of like we're kind of just in the dumps of everything. Like, oh gosh, you know, we lost to a team that we shouldn't have lost to. It was a roller coaster. But that was kind of a turning point, because we were like, all right, it's go time now. We felt the right energy. We need to bring that back and, you know, just build on what we did that second half. And I think we did that. You know, I think that was something that you could feel, and it's not really something you could put your finger on, but there are emotions that go on the sideline that people can really feel, and you know, we just let that carry us through the rest of the season.
And then one last for you, just on a personal note, I know you kind of mentioned what you're going to work on stuff this off season and all that. Are you able? I know it's very fresh and all that. Are you able to at all like appreciate like the season you had and the offense had, and or like when does that come during? Is that later in the off season for you?
Yeah. I've already touched on it a couple of times. I'm going to chill over the next couple of weeks, reset mentally, get my legs back under me, make sure everything's all healed up, ready to go to start training for next season. But games like that are always going to be in the back of your mind. I think that's a good thing. It's going to be something that motivates us to work that much harder, to where when we get to that point next season, the result will be different ultimately. So, but over the next couple of weeks, goal number one is just to enjoy the off season, relax, and get the mind right for what's coming up.
Thanks, Dawson. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you too.
That's all for today. Thank you, Dawson.
Thanks, Kelly.